What he has done has not actually completed the declaration. The president has only started the process.
Yeah, but he's sworn in the administration.
Yes, whatever he has done is inchoate. It has not crystallized. The powers of emergency under Section 305 have not crystallized.
Today, and a decision, the process, a decision reached, but it appears as though there was very little discussion, and the whole process has been adjourned.
No, it's not so. Charles, yes, Nigerians have a right to expect, after all, we are their representatives. We're elected by them to represent them. And I know that expectation is high, and we could have done it today. But you see, the Constitution has prescribed rules. This emergency rule is a very serious constitutional development.
Indeed.
It's one of the most serious constitutional developments. And the framers of the Nigerian Constitution took their time, not only in regulating strictly the conditions under which it can be imposed. And let me be clear, none of this talks about removal of elected officials. None of it. In other words, the expectation is that the president, even when he declares a state of emergency, can do so to strengthen and aid the elected officials, not to replace them.
So if it's that important, why didn't you guys discuss it today?
By the Constitution, after the declaration, which the president has done, what he has done has not actually completed the declaration. The president has only started the process.
Yeah, but he's sworn in the administration.
Yes, whatever he has done is inchoate. It has not crystallized. The powers of emergency under Section 305 have not crystallized. In other words, legally speaking, constitutionally speaking, there's no effective emergency rule now.
Until
the Senate and the House, the National Assembly, collectively speaking, by 2/3 majority. You see how the Constitution recognizes that it's an extraordinary situation. Now, the constitutional requirement is for the president to forward that proclamation to the National Assembly.
Well, he said he has.
And it has to be gazetted and sent.
He said he has.
Now, when they receive, the Speaker and the Senate President, as they normally do every morning, they will read communications from the executive. That has to be presented. Once that is presented, then the process of the National Assembly's participation in this emergency rule process has kicked in. For now, today we expected it. I was there. A lot of members were there. And we all have our views. There may be some who are in support, but I can tell you it will be a difficult thing to get it passed. And let me tell you, the Constitution says 2/3 majority. In other words, of the total number, not of the people who are present. And but there are some of us who, because we take this seriously, it's an ideological issue. It's not just personal. It's not because of Sim Fubara. It's not because of Amehule. It's not because it's an APC government doing it. No. It is, for some of us, ideological. It has to be a matter of protecting the sovereignty of the peoples of Rivers State and then the democratic rights within our constitution.
Would you be surprised if the Senate passes that?
I'll be very surprised. First of all,
move by the president.
Oh yes, because it has to be supported by 2/3 of members.
Well, you need at least 73 senators.
About 73 senators. Yeah. Not only will you have 73 senators in attendance, it means that of the members who are present, you understand? 73 must vote in support. The same number that can enthrone the leadership of the 2/3. In the case of the House of Reps, 240 members. In the case of the Nigerian Senate, where I'm a member, 73 of us will have to agree. Okay? And some of us, as I've said, for ideological consistency, in defense of the democracy of our country, in defense of the Constitution, in defense of the sovereignty of the people of Rivers State, we are ideologically opposed to it.
Right. This is, of course, from a...
That is Seraki Dixon, the former governor of Bayelsa State, and he is currently the senator representing Bayelsa West Senatorial District on the floor of the National Assembly. He is saying that it is impossible for the Senate to legalize Bola Ahmed Tinubu's state of emergency in Rivers State. By now, you are all aware of the state of emergency that was declared by Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Rivers State. That state of emergency has been criticized by well-meaning Nigerians. Everybody have come out to criticize that state of emergency. It is illegal. Some persons have even said that Bola Ahmed Tinubu committed a treasonable offense, an impeachable offense, for suspending Governor Similaye Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odu, and all the elected officials in Rivers State. There is no part of the constitution that empower him to suspend Fubara, his deputy, and the elected officials in Rivers State. In doing so, Bola Ahmed Tinubu went out of his defined constitutional role. But however, the constitution empowers him to declare a state of emergency in any part of the country. If there is a breakdown of law and order in any part of Nigeria, if there is bloodbath killing in any part of Nigeria, if the governor of a state asks him to declare a state of emergency, he can do that. And when he does declare a state of emergency, the National Assembly will have to legalize it. That means they will have to approve his declaration of state of emergency. But we all know that in the case of Rivers State, there is no bloodbath going on in Rivers State. There is no breakdown of law and order. What we have in Rivers State is internal political crisis that we have in Rivers State. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, while declaring the state of emergency in Rivers State, solely blamed the governor Similaye Fubara for causing the problem in Rivers State. But you and I all know who is responsible for the problem in Rivers State. We all know the beginning of this crisis. We all know that it is because somebody wants to take control of the resources in Rivers State ahead of the executive governor. Nyesom Wike ruled Rivers State for 8 years and he installed Fubara. Now he wants to dictate to Fubara what he needs to do and what he need not to do as a governor in Rivers State. Fubara is the chief executive officer in Rivers State. When Nyesom Wike was in charge of Rivers State, nobody dares dictate or interfere in the governance affair in Rivers State. But now he wants to interfere in the governance affair in Rivers State because he installed the governor, and the governor is saying no, the people of Rivers State deserve better. This is the beginning of the political crisis in Rivers State. The president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is aware of what caused the problem, but he is not blaming his FCT minister. He's blaming the governor. The FCT minister has gone on the national television to threaten that he's going to impeach, he's going to remove the governor, and nothing will be done about it. He even said that he will cause crisis in the state of the PDP governors who try to interfere in the issues in Rivers State. And the president did not call him to order. The president has not suspended him, but he's going ahead to suspend a peaceful governor that is being loved by the people. Tinubu has acted on his own. He needs the National Assembly to legalize the illegality that he has done. But as it stands now, it is very obvious, impossible, that the National Assembly will not legalize what Tinubu has done. And I'm very happy to hear Saraki Dixon say all of this. I mean, for once, we can have hope for the National Assembly. I am saying we can have hope. All I'm saying is that we can have hope, but you all know what the National Assembly is all about. The National Assembly led by Godswill Akpabio. You all know that it is a rubber stamp assembly. The National Assembly has been captured by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we cannot squarely depend on the National Assembly to resist Bola Ahmed Tinubu from implementing state of emergency in Rivers State. But if we have to believe what Saraki Dixon is saying so far, then there is hope for Nigeria. There is hope for the people in Rivers State. There is hope that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will, for once in his life as a president, be resisted by Nigerians through the National Assembly. But like I said, I'm scared and I don't have hope, because this is the same National Assembly that some members of the Labour Party are defecting to the APC, that some members of the PDP are defecting to the APC. And you begin to wonder what exactly is happening on the floor of the National Assembly. The National Assembly does not only contain APC members. We have the Labour Party members, we have the PDP members, we have the NNPP members, we have members from other parties on the floor of the National Assembly. So it is time for them to come together to understand that this is an attack on democracy. It is democracy that allowed them to be there. Because of democracy, the people went on their way to vote them to go and represent them. What Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to do is an attack on democracy. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu is allowed to successfully remove an elected official, an elected governor, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu is allowed to act beyond, out of line, out of the stipulated constitution, that means we are given room for anarchy. He can just wake up any day, any time, and declare a state of emergency in any state in this country. As long as he does not like the governor, as long as he wants to take hold of the resources in that state, he can even decide to remove a senator tomorrow, and the Senate will legalize it. So it is time for us to put a stop to what he is doing, because this is a play of a dictator. Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to write the constitution. Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to interpret the constitution. Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to execute the constitution. This is not how Nigeria is built to function. This is not how democracy works. We have three arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is functioning as the executive arm of the government. All Bola Ahmed Tinubu does is to implement the laws that were made by the legislature, and the legislature also has the right to run checks and balance on the executive. The judiciary define the laws that have been made by the legislature to the executive. All these arms of government work hand in hand, they work together. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu don't want this arm of government to work together. He wants to be the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. That can never be done in a democratic setting. If this is allowed to stand, it will breed anarchy, it will breed dictatorship, and we don't want that in Nigeria. We don't want that in this country. So the onus lies on the National Assembly to ensure that they stop this madness from the executive, because this is absolute madness. What is happening in Rivers State does not warrant a state of emergency. What is happening in Rivers State does not warrant to suspend the governor. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has committed an impeachable offense. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.